going to Disney World soon, trying to find out to see is rope drop really worth getting up early for? Let's find out here in this video. Alright, so you've planned your Disney World trip, you've done everything you needed to do to pack, and taken everything you needed to take with you. You get to the airport, you fly in, you get to your hotel, you get your rest for the next day because you know you're going to have a park day. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, do I really want a rope drop? And you're asking, what is rope drop? Rope drop at Walt Disney World is the moment when the gates to all the magic open and guests are allowed into the park. So, getting to Disney World rope drop is one of the best ways to ensure that you have a great day at Disney World. Also, it allows you to avoid the crowds and make the most of the time in your park. But you're trying to ask yourself, is it worth getting up early for and waiting in the line to be the first ones into the park? So, at certain hotels, well, actually, not at certain hotels, at every Disney World hotel, when you're staying on property, you can get in right now up to 30 minutes early. So you can get in 30 minutes early before all other park guests can get in, as long as you're staying on a Disney World property. Now, with that, we here at Ryan's Ohana have done that every single time that we go, and we find it very, very, very beneficial to getting into Disney World and riding whatever rides we want to ride. So this past trip that we went on, we rope dropped Hollywood Studios. And at Hollywood Studios, we were able to ride Tower of Terror. Rock and Roller was down because it was in refurbishment. And then we also were able to ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And then we also were able to ride Rise of the Resistance. We did all those three rides within the 30 minutes before park opened. Because we went, as soon as we walked in, we went straight to Tower of Terror. It was literally a walk-on for that because we were actually one of the first ones in line. So we got on Tower of Terror, booked it over to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We waited maybe about 5 minutes, 10 minutes for that ride. And then after we got off that, we booked it to Rise of the Resistance. And we got in that line. There was a little wait for that line, but it was just right before park opened. So then guests were finally allowed, the other guests were finally allowed to come in. So we were able to ride all those three rides, which were major attractions, before park even opened. And that we thought was a great, great, great thing because we were able to knock out those three rides before any other guests were allowed to be in the park, and it was worth it. But for you guys, the short answer is rope dropping Disney World really worth it? It depends. It depends on what your goals are for the trip. If you want to make the most of your time and see and do as much as possible, then getting to the park early is going to be a good idea. Rope drop, it's going to be the best time to hit the most popular rides with the shortest wait times. However, if your goal is to relax and take it at a slower pace, then you might want to sleep in and visit the park later on in the day. Well, we've done that too, where we've just been to the parks and just been like, you know what? We've ridden everything we wanted to ride. We go to Disney World every year. We've seen and done everything we wanted to do. One of the things I know we wanted to do when we went to Magic Kingdom was ride Tron. So we got up early at the 7 a.m. mark to do your virtual queue. Did the virtual queue. Was able to get a virtual queue for it. So we got a spot. And I was like, okay, you know what? Now that I got that spot, it's going to be later on in the day before we could even ride. So we're like, you know what? Let's sleep in. So we slept in. We slept in till, 9, 10 o'clock instead of having to get up at 5 in the morning to get dressed and be on the bus by 7 so that we can get to the park for that 30 minutes early to be able to get in. We slept in, and we slept in till 8, 9 o'clock and got up and took our time getting dressed, had some breakfast at the commissary, and then we left to the parks. And we found that beneficial for us because we were able to rest, we were able to relax, we were able to just take our time. And that was really enjoyable for our trip. Like I said, it just depends on what your goal is and what you want to do. I know anybody who's a first-timer that just goes to Disney World for the first time, you want to do as much as you can in that short amount of time that you're there. So you're going to want to rope drop. But for Disney veterans who have been so many different times and so many times that we go every year, you just go to have fun. And it just depends. Like I said, it just depends on what your goal is. On what you want to do. If you want to be able to enter the park as soon as it opens and beat the crowds, then you also have a full day ahead to enjoy rides and attractions. And if you want to do that, you can do that. You may also find that the crowds are not as bad later in the day, so you could potentially see everything you want without getting up super early. And it is true, because when you go later on during the day, or if you go around noon, a lot of the families who have kids go back to the resorts to take naps for their children. And we here at Ryan's Ohana, whenever we go, we have kids with us, we decide to take our breaks, because we've learned from in the past that they need their breaks, because if you don't take them during their breaks, that's when you have the meltdowns, and it could potentially ruin your day at Disney World because they have a meltdown, or you just get frustrated because they're crying. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to ruin your trip. We have a whole nother video on how you can ruin your Disney World trip, and you can check that out. But like I said, you just want to, it depends on what you want to do, on what you potentially want to see.
So if you haven't seen it already,
without wanting to get up super early. If you want to get up super early and beat the crowds, and going, you maybe want to go shopping. Shopping, when you're there early, if you don't want to ride rides, riding rides isn't one of your things. You can get the crowds to shop early, especially when they have special releases like the Disney 100 anniversary merchandise that's just going on sale.
Really cool.
You want to beat those crowds because you want the Starbucks cups, or you want the ears, you want the backpack
as well.
You can go there early and get the Spirit jerseys without having to wait for the crowds in there that are going to be in there later on during the day. Or if you want to see a show like the Tiki Room, you can be one of the first ones to go see the Tiki Room. It just depends on what you want to do for Disney World. Now, if you are going to rope drop, generally speaking, it is advisable to arrive at least 30 to 60 minutes before the opening time, as this will give you plenty of time to get to the park, depending on if you're taking the bus or if you're driving, whether or not you're staying on Disney World property. Like I said, you have to be on Disney World property to rope drop. So it gets you time to get through security, and it gets you to be in position when the gate opens. Of course, the earlier you arrive, the better your chance of getting a good spot to the front. Now, if you want to be one of the first people in the park, aim to arrive at least an hour before opening time. This will give you plenty of time to get settled and be ready to go as park opens. Now, like I said before, the benefits of getting to Disney World open to rope drop, the main benefit is you'll avoid the crowds and you'll make the most of your time at the park. Like I said, rope drop is the best time to hit the most popular rides with the shortest wait times. If you want to see and do as much as possible, then getting to the parks early is a good idea. Now, how does rope drop work? Once the rope drop happens, people are allowed to walk into the park straight for the attraction if they want to ride first. The rope drop process is a great way to get a jump start on your day at Disney World. Now, there are a few things you need to know to make the most of your rope drops. One, be sure to arrive early. Getting there an hour before the rope drop will give you plenty of time to get through security and find a spot near the rope. So, when we did Hollywood Studios, and not houses, it was Magic Kingdom, and we were allowed to get through security. We got through the gate. There was still a rope that you had to wait for until you were able to get past that to get to the other sections of the park before, how you had Hollywood Boulevard, and you had where you can get down, and then once you got to the Mickey and Minnie section, you had to wait right there, so that way you had to wait for the rope to drop still. You can get past that. So that's one of the things you also have to wait, is you have to wait before that other second rope drop technically. Now, number 2 is to have a plan. Decide which attraction you want to visit first and make your way there as soon as the rope drop happens. Number 3, and this is most important, most important, be patient. There will likely be a crowd of people rope dropping with you, so it may take a little time to get to where you're going. But if you follow these tips, you'll be able to make the most of your road trip and enjoy a great day at Disney World. Now, like I said, be patient. That's a key thing, especially during these times. There's a lot of people that, can get angry and all that stuff. You don't want to be part of those people. Just be patient. Be kind to everybody. Remember, everybody's there to have an amazing vacation just like you want to. Just be patient. You are going to be able to ride, whatever ride you're going to want to ride because you are there that early. Just be patient and get to the rides you want to safely, and be kind to others because others want to have a great vacation like you do. Now, can anyone go to the road trip at Disney World? Rope Drop happens every day at each of the 4 main parks, so anyone can attend the Rope Drop at Disney World. So like I said, everyone can do it, but Disney has a very special thing, like I said before, for Disney World guests that stay on Disney property, to where you can get in 30 minutes before. It used to be an hour before, and I loved it when it was an hour before, because that was one of my favorite things, was to get there an hour before. I felt like honestly, when we rope dropped when it was an hour before, we were able to get a ton of the rides done. And that was amazing for us. Now, like I said, can anyone rope drop? Yes, anyone can rope drop, but usually it happens early in the morning, so you'll need to be prepared to wake up early and get there, right an hour early, because if not, there's going to be a bunch of crowds there with you, and you're going to get caught up in all that crowd, and you are going to be, like I said, you are going to be able to ride one of your favorite rides, but it's just going to be a little bit of a wait, and you may not be able to hit 1, 2, 3 riding order like the way you want to. So like I said, your road trip is a great way to start your day at Disney with little planning, and anyone can do it. Now, like I said before, is road trip only for resort guests? No, it's not just for resort guests. Any guest with a valid ticket can enter the parks during rope drop. So if you're looking to avoid the crowds, like I said, get there early, and get in line. Now, can you use the Skyliner for the rope drop? Arriving at the Skyliner early, about 30 minutes before its posted starting time, will get you a good spot for rope drop. So, when you get there to Epcot and all that stuff, some of the rides at Epcot that are best to road trip are Soarin', Test Track, Frozen Ever After, and Spaceship Earth. Now, that's one of the things, that we love to do. When we rope drop, any of the rides that we like to ride, especially at Hollywood Studios, it's Tower of Terror, Stinky Dog Dash, and Rise of the Resistance. Those are the main ones there. But when we go to Epcot, Soarin', Test Track, Frozen and After, those are the main big rides there. Now with Remy's Ratatouille, before it was a virtual queue, now you can rope drop that ride, and that's one of the rides that we like to try and get to first is Remy's, and then of course after that is Frozen. In Animal Kingdom, we like to rope drop to get to Pandora, so we can ride the 2 main rides there, because those are the ones that are going to have the longest lines. When you get to Magic Kingdom, the 2 main rides that we like to rope drop there are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Space Mountain, because there you're gonna have the most line for those rides. But other than that, those are some of the tips that we have for you for when you're going to be able to rope drop at Disney World. You got, like I said, make sure you have your fun, be patient with crowds, get there an hour early so you can have the shortest wait times. Like I said, if your goal is to relax and take things at a slower pace, then sleep in, visit the parks later in the day. Sometimes you'll be able to have a great time by not having that much of a crowd later on during the day, so you'll still be able to ride most of your rides that you'll want to ride. And if you get there early, you also have a full day ahead if you do enjoy rides and attractions. So those are our tips here at Ryan's Ohana. We hope that those will help you for your next Disney World trip. The next videos that we're going to be having are going to be, we're going to be going on a boat ride here in the next few days, so that way we can show y'all guys some fun here on the lake. And we'll be back to shooting live videos here soon. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And we'll see y'all guys in the next one.